Let's continue. This is where we ended up earlier. Okay, pinuputol natin para hindi kayo mahirapang maghanap ng mga topics. Tsaka yung lamang gusto niyong balikan. Okay, puntahan natin dito. So, basically, these are the types of corporations, no? So we have a domestic corporation organized and established under the laws of the Philippines. And remember, just like an RC, estates and trust, a DC is taxable on their income derived from all sources, whether derived from within and without the Philippines. Ang foreign corporations naman, they are corporations established under the laws of a foreign country. Okay? Difference, kapag resident foreign, they are engaged in trade within the Philippines, meaning they operate here. A non-resident naman is not engaged in trade or business in the Philippines. Both are taxable only on their income derived from sources within the Philippines. Kaya nga, di ba, napag-usapan natin yung rules in determining the source of the income. Okay? So, pag sinabi nating domestic corporation, madami ito. So, example, lagyan natin ang pangalan, San Miguel Corporation, Ayala Land, or SMDC, BPI, all sorts of domestic corporations. Okay? They are taxable on all sources. Sama natin si Jollibee. Dito naman tayo sa foreign corporations. Okay? Resident Foreign Corporation. Ito, required to be registered with SEC also. Okay? Now, ito tayo. Resident Foreign Corporation. Madali itong mga distinguish. Okay, Golden Arches Philippines. Ito yung McDonald's. Okay, Tim Horton Philippines. Starbucks Philippines, kung talagang yung pangalan niya. Procter & Gamble Philippines. Mitsubishi Motors Philippines. Toyota Philippines. Nike Philippines. H&M Philippines, IKEA Philippines. O, di ba? May descriptive word na Philippines na that they operate here within the Philippines. They do business here. Sony Philippines. Okay? Coca-Cola Bottlers Philippines. O, di ba? Napakadali niyan. Kenny Rogers Roasters Philippines, kung talagang yun ang pangalan niya. Pero if it's a foreign corporation, they operate here. Most often than not, they contain descriptive word Philippines to enable people, no, to distinguish a foreign company. Kung nilagay Philippines, they operate here to identify themselves that they are actually a foreign corporation operating within the Philippines. Okay? Now, eto naman, non-resident foreign corporations. Pag tinanong kita, give me an example of a non-resident foreign corporation, most likely ang iniisip mo, Apple Corp, because they don't have any branch here. Alibaba, walang walang Walmart, walang Target. Okay? Pero tama ka naman. But it's easier to just give this kind of an example. Toyota Japan, Ford US, okay? Golden Arches US, yung mga home office na mga foreign na resident foreign corporations are examples of non-resident foreign corporations. Ganyan lang po kasimple yan. O ngayon, balikan lang natin ng konti itong resident foreign. Sabi ko sa iyo, normally, meron silang descriptive words. Pero minsan, merong mga foreign corporations, okay, na iba ang description. Example, yung mga regional operating headquarters, regional area headquarters. Etong dalawa, multinational companies, mga foreign corporations din. But they are basically operating here. Lalong-lalo na to, operating yan. Di kung nag-operate sa Pilipinas yan, regular income tax yan, tapos subject din sa VAT. Ito, area headquarter yan. Aba, sa income tax, exempt yan sa income tax. Pagkatapos, exempt din yan saan? Sa VAT. Bakit? Area headquarter lang yun. Yung nandito, they do not derive any income. Okay, tapos dito naman, merong mga tinatawag minsan na Philippine branch ang nakalagay mismo. Ang term Philippine branch, halimbawa, APC, American Power Conversion, Philippine branch. Aba, kung Philippine branch yan, ito yung subject sa gross income tax. Yung mamaya, babalikan natin yung mga rates for these types of taxpayers. Okay. O, tapos, yung mga foreign entities na operating here, yung mga international carriers, air carrier, at saka ship carrier. Air carrier lang meron tayo dito normally. Okay, so yan ang mga types of corporations. Now, let's go to their tax rates. In your handout, we summarize the tax rate, so mas madaling aralin yung sa inyo. So, pasadahan lang natin ng konti. Kaya nga, domestic corporation in general, because the general rule is like this. Okay, ang rate na should be, if the problem is silent, you apply 25%. Bakit? General rule is taxation, exception is exemption. You cannot assume na yan ay 20% kung sakasakali. Kasi nga general rule, yung taxation. Ito exception lang yan. Okay? So, kailan nagsimulang maging 25% yan? Mind you ha, ang BOA, nagtatanong siya ng mga periods. Baka itanong kailan nagsimula yan under Create Law, July 1, 2020. Okay, ang old rate natin is 20%. Tax Code Effectivity, January 1, 1998 hanggang June 30, 2020, 30% yan. Tapos, again, beginning July 1, 2020, under Create Law, naging 25%. Ngayon, pag tinanong ka, 2020, tinanong ka ng BOA, ano yung tax rate sa 2020? Aba, since mula June, okay, January to June, ang rate niyan is 30%, tapos July to December, ang rate niyan 25%. I-total mo yung dalawa na yan, 57.5%, 55%. Ala, nahawa na ako sa inyo. Char lang. Okay. So, 55% eto. I-divide by 2 mo. Divide by 2. So, magkano? Ang effective tax rate in 2020, 27.5. Okay, minsan may mga ganyang tanong sa BOA, kaya wag mo kakalimutan ito ha. So, yung mga effective tax rates. Okay, so tignan mo rin ang transitory period kung sakasakali. May question about a certain period, 2020, gamitin mo yung 30%. Tapos, kung January to June yan, July to December, 25%. Sir, paano kung halimbawa, ah, ah, okay, parehas lang. Na-realize ko na huli. But anyway, punta tayo dito. Since ang old rate ay 30%, ang MCIT rate natin 2%. Noong Create Law, siyempre, bumaba yung rate natin. Okay, tapos yung MCIT natin for the period, ito, nagkaroon tayo ng transitory, binabaan temporarily ang MCIT rate. Okay, so ngayon, temporary lang yung period na yan, July 1, 2020 up to June 30, 2023. Bakit bumaba? Kasi nga, ito yung corporate rehabilitation, corporate recovery. Panahon ng pandemic to. So, binigyan ng pagkakataon ng mga negosyo na makabawi sa kanilang mga lugi, kaya binabaan ng tax. O, di ba? O, di ngayon, rate during this period, 1%. Okay? Tapos, noong July 1, 2023 onwards, naging 2% na yan. Kaya pag tinanong sa'yo, what is the effective MCIT rate in the year 2020, ang isasagot mo, 3%, 3% divided by 2 is equal to 1.5%. Ito yung effective rate. Kaya kung taxable year 2020 ang tinatanong, huwag mong kakalimutan ang 1.5%. Kung taxable year 2023, yan yung 2020, no? Kung taxable year 2023 naman, huwag mong kakalimutan na ang rate January to June is 1%, and then July to December, yun yan, 2% yan. So effective interest MCIT rate is also 1.5% kapag 2023. Mag-iingat ka sa mga dates. Okay, para hindi ka mapahamak. Kasi basic lang talaga. Eh sir, papaano kung halimbawa fiscal year kami? Okay, March 31 ang aming ending. E de yung mula April 1 mo hanggang June 30, 1%. Yung mula July 1 mo hanggang March 31, ede 2% yan. Ganyan lang naman yan. Okay? Now, ang sabi natin, ang MCIT, temporary ang pagbaba niya kasi umakyat din ulit, bumalik sa 2%. Ito, hindi na yan babalik. Okay? Hindi yan kasabay ng magkaiba ang sa MCIT. Yun lang ang merong temporary reduction, pero ito permanent reduction yan. So, beginning July 1, 2020, naging 25% yan. Hanggang ngayon, 25% pa din. Again, general rule na rate na yan. Okay? Now, let me just share with you kasi I have seen the materials of some revenue review centers. Minsan sila, may ginagamit nila yung 20% kahit silent. Halimbawa ng silent, hindi binigay yung total assets. Okay? Kasi pag, ito yan, no? If a corporation, by way of exception, kasi nga general to, exception to nasa baba. Kung hindi lalampas ng 5 million ang taxable income and yung total assets dapat not exceeding 100 million. Hindi kasama sa 100 million yung land. Okay? Where the office, plant and equipment, yung wag mong kakalimutan, office, plant and equipment, hindi kasama sa 100 million. So halimbawa, merong tayong total assets 99 million. 99 million ang total asset. Eh meron tayong lupa doon ng ating opisina 50 million. Tanong, 25 tayo or 20? Kung halimbawa ang net income or taxable income hindi lumampas ng 5 million. Aba, kahit 149 million ang total niyan, eto hindi mo isasama. Kasi nga kapag OPE, excluding yan. Clear? Kaya titignan mo yung composition ha. Kung kasama halimbawa dito, kasama yung land, word, office, plant, equipment situated, tanggalin mo. Pwede ito, naging 99 million siya. Hindi lumampas ng 100 million. Taxable net income, hindi lumampas ng 5 million. 20% tayo. Balik tayo sa ibang RC. Yung ibang RC, ang net income, halimbawa, 100,000 lang, 200. Ginagamit nila 20%. Okay, kaya nga minsan wala talagang unity no? Pero us here, we apply the general rule kasi nga ang rule is taxation, exception is exemption. But anyway, I hope that the BOA will be fair when it comes to asking questions, especially computations on the application of the rates. So, sana ibigay ang total asset parate para mag-guide tayo. Less than 100 million yan, tignan mo kagad taxable income. Lampas ba na 5 million? Kung lampas, 25. Kung hindi, total asset below 100 million, total net income below or taxable income below 5 million, 20% ang gagamitin natin. Okay? Dito naman tayo, proprietary educational institution and hospital. Ito domestic din to. Okay, dati preferential tax yan. Tandaan mo, well, hanggang ngayon pa rin naman, ang dati 10% yan. Okay, during this period, nagkaroon ng pandemic. Nagkaroon ng create law, corporate recovery, kaya temporary bumaba yan. Okay, during this period, ang applicability niyan. Tapos, bumalik na siya ulit sa 10% by July 1, 2023. Kaya mag-ingat ka kapag 2023, mag-ingat ka kapag 2020 transitory period yan. Okay, so ang gagawin mo parang halimbawa, January to June, 2020, 10% ang gagamitin mo. By July to December, okay, 2020, 1% ang gagamitin mo. So, pwede mong i-average lang yan, 5.5 ang effective tax rate niyan. Basta, January to June, July to December. Kung yan ay fiscal year period, tignan mo kung ano yung period ng fiscal year niya. Okay, halimbawa, April, ang March 31 yan, ang ending niya, fiscal year. So, yung April 1 to June 30, all the rate ka na 10%. Tapos, July 1 hanggang matapos yung fiscal year niya, the following period, 1% yan. Okay, mag-ingat ka din. 2023 is the transition period. Yung January to June 2023 natin, 1% ang rate niyan. By July 1 to December 2023, 10% na. So, effective rate, 5.5% din. Okay, mag-iingat ka dito ha. Applicable to sa mga proprietary educational institution and non-profit hospital. Non-profit hospital ha, ngayon pa lang kinaklarify na natin. Now, last, if a taxpayer is subject to preferential tax rate, kaya nga preferential, hindi kasi regular yan. Kaya nga special rate kasi hindi regular yan. Kapag preferential or special rate, walang MCIT. Okay? Eh sir, school ito tsaka non-profit hospital. Papaano kung subject siya sa regular tax na 25%? Eh di meron ng MCIT kasi nga pag preferential, walang MCIT. Pero kapag regular na yan, meron ng MCIT. Okay? Dito naman, resident foreign corporation, dating 33% to, na ngayon ay 25%. Same with TC. Okay, yung mga periods na yan. Transitory period, ayan, July 1, okay, onwards until today, 25% na yan, permanent na yan. Pero nung create law, okay, yung 2% na to bumaba sa 1%, pero ngayon bumalik na sa 2%. July 1, 2023 onwards. Ngayon, eto, kaya upon effectivity of the create or until June 30, 2023. Okay, so same lang din nung BC. Now, itong offshore banking units, mga foreign banks operating within the Philippines to. Kaya nga, pero ang clientele nila offshore. Okay, mga foreign entities. Okay, dati preferential tax sila na 10%. Kung preferential tax, ang sabi natin, walang MCIT yan. Now, there's a question mark here kasi ang kulit ng revenue regulation. Nilagay niya upon effectivity of the create law. Ang daming effectivity period ng create law. Okay, nung April 2021, yan ang effectivity date. Okay, April 11 ang effectivity date niyan. Di ba merong retroactive application niyan na July 1, 2020? Ang sinabi lang, upon effectivity of the create law. Ano yung pinag-uusapan dito? Yung retroactive application na July 1 or April 11, 2021? Okay? Kaya nilagay namin dito, effectivity kasi talaga, April 11, 2021. Yan yung effectivity ng law. Pero meron siyang retroactive application. Okay? So, tignan mo, from preferential tax, naging 25% siya. So, regular tax na to ngayon. So, since naging regular tax na, meron ng MCIT. So, yung MCIT na to, ayan, sabi ng revenue regulation to, upon effectivity of the create law or until June 30, 2023, 1%. Bumalik na siya sa 2% ngayon, katulad ng isang domestic or foreign corporation. Okay? Now, ito naman, regional operating headquarters, binanggit na sa ito. Multinational company ito. Okay, pero ang difference, this one is operating, kaya madaling makilala siya. Regional operating headquarter. Yung isa, regional area headquarter. Etong area na to, more on communication, ano lang siya. Normally, ito, BPO lang yan. Communication lang yan. Or supervisory, etc. But they don't operate here. Okay, so dati ang ROHQ, preferential tax, kaya walang MCIT. Pero nung naging regular tax na sila, meron ng MCIT. Okay, o ang sabi ko sa iyo ha, ang BOA nagtatanong na ng mga periods. So, ang effectivity period neto, 'di ba, ang sabi natin, ang create law, ang daming effectivity periods. Yung batas, April 11, 2021, naging batas. Okay? Pero merong retroactive application. Yung domestic corporation na rate, yung MCIT, okay, retroactive din siya to July 1, 2020. Pero ito, okay, April 11 ha, 2021 naging batas ang create law, pero ang effectivity date nito forward naman siya, January 1, 2022 ang start ng transition from 10% preferential to regular rate of 25%. So nung naging regular na siya, subject na siya ngayon sa MCIT. Effective period, tignan mo, yung 1%, January 1, 2022 to June 30, 2023. Okay? By July 1, 2023, balik na sa regular rate na 2%. So, tandaan mo itong mga rates ha, yung mga dates, sorry, mga dates. Okay? Ayan ha. So, between this period, wala tayong MCIT. Okay? Ang regional area, nabanggit na sa'yo, exempt yan sa income tax, exempt sa VAT. Bakit? Kasi nga, ano naman yung mga yan, they don't operate income here. They don't operate here, they do not derive any income here. Sir, saan galing ang mga gastos nila? Pinapa-reimburse lang nila yan sa kanilang head office. Okay? Kaya pag natanggap nila yon, hindi yun income. Non-resident foreign corporation naman. Okay, foreign entities. Foreign established under the laws of a foreign country. They don't operate here. O dati, ang rate natin 30%. O bumaba na siya to 25%. Okay? Ang rate natin dati isa sa, actually hindi ko lang sure no kung tayo yung pinakamataas, pero one of the highest tax rates, kaya nilower yan para maging competitive tayo with other foreign countries, with our neighbors. Okay, lang nagsimula ang 25%. January 1, 2021. O, tignan mo to. Balikan natin ang regional operating. Tignan mo ang ROHQ. January 1, 2022. Ito naman, January 1, 2021. Non-resident, mas nauna na bumaba yung rate. Ito, nahuli ang pagtaas ng rate from 10% to 25%, okay, January 1, 2022. Pero pag NRFC, bumaba ka agad. Okay. By the way, sir, bakit na natin ginawang regular rate na to, dating preferential? Ginawang regular rate yan kasi nag-ooperate naman sa Pilipinas yan. They do business here. They are engaged in trade. Bakit mas mababa yung tax rate? O, di ba? Uniformity. Di ngayon, 25 na. Okay, January 1, 2021. Since ito ay final tax pa rin, wala na tayong walang MCIT. Ayun ha, final tax yan. Gross income taxation kasi ang NRFC. Apply lang din ng mabilisan lang to. ABC Corp disclose the following financial information. Okay? Ang tanong, compute the tax due if the taxpayer is DC. So ito, income derived from sources within and income derived from sources without. Ito, income derived from sources within din sila. Okay? So gross income Philippines, gross income deductions Philippines, so 1 million lang yan. Gross income US, 1 million. So ito, deduction 500,000, so 500,000 lang yan. Okay? O ito na yung sagutan, mabilisan tayo. So, i-minus mo lang yan. Okay, 2 million minus 1 million, 1 million minus 500, ang total 1.5 million. Ayun, 1.5 million ang total gross taxable income. Okay, di multiply mo lang na 25% kung regular rate yan, 20% kung ang total asset niyan do not exceed 100 million, excluding the land where OPE, office plant and equipment is situated. Okay? So, ang general rule rate, 25%. Kaya ang income tax due, 375,000. So, tandaan mo, all the rate is 30%. Eh, sir, paano ang treatment dito sa interest income from bank deposits? Final tax yan dito. Final tax. Pag DC, final tax yan. Okay, pag resident foreign corporations naman, only income derived from sources within. Kaya Philippines to, at saka Philippines yun. Taxable income is 1 million. Walang 20% na nag-a-apply sa RFC. DC lang yon. So, 25%, i-multiply mo kaagad. Tandaan mo, ang rate natin dati, 30%. Sir, meron bang MCIT ito? Meron. Base yan dito. Okay, 2%. Dito naman, meron bang MCIT dito? Meron bang MCIT? Oo, meron. So, yung gross income na 1 million, okay, i-multiply mo na ang 2% lang din kung 2024 yan. Sorry, ito pala yan. Gross income 2 million at saka yon 3 million yan. 3 million times 2%. Okay? So, 60,000. So, therefore, malaki pa rin yung regular rate natin. Yun ang babayaran natin. Okay, ano yung treatment pag RFC doon sa interest income from bank deposit? Subject din yan sa final tax. Okay, paano pag NRFC? Aba, income derived from sources within the Philippines lang din. So, isama na natin 2 million at saka yung interest income from bank deposits, 2.1 million yan. I-multiply mo lang ng 25%. Yun na kagad. Ang final tax natin, is the NRFC required to report the income? No. Bakit? Ang income niya subjected sa final tax. Tandaan mo, ang dating rate niyan, 30%. Tanong, meron bang MCIT diyan? Wala. Bakit? Gross income tax. Okay? Now, let me just clarify ha. Yung sa 2.1 million na to, ito yan yung gross income, i-multiply lang natin ng 25% na rate na yan. Ang interest income naman, i-multiply din natin ng 25%, pero ito, bangko ang nagwi-withhold yan. Okay, ito naman, yung withholding agent, kung yung payor, kung sino yung magbabayad ng 25%. So, yan ang application ng rule. Okay, no MCIT ito ha, no MCIT. Okay. Now, let's talk about, okay, before we proceed, dito muna tayo mag-stop ulit.